All right. It's been about 24 hours since Apple unveiled the Apple Vision Pro. Obviously, I had a lot to say yesterday, but I have even more to say today because I've had time to sit down, think about things. I've watched a ton of YouTube videos just to get input from other YouTubers, some people who agree with me and some people who don't agree with me. And I will definitely say this, more people seem to disagree with me than agree. However, let me make this clear. That doesn't necessarily make them or me wrong. This is something new, and obviously we're not going to see how significant of an impact this is going to make on the world until at least 2 or 3 years from now. But I do want to make this clear, guys. I embrace change. I mean, I've had a couple of people say, well, David, you're older, you don't like change. No, that's not true. I embrace change. I love when things feel fresh, feel new. So I am all for the Apple Vision Pro. I'm all for trying it eventually. But do I think it's the future of computing? I don't. I'm sorry. I just don't see the realism behind using that over something like a MacBook Pro. But anyway, the point of today's video is to respond to your comments regarding the Apple Vision Pro on my previous video. So here we go. These comments were not chosen in any kind of order. I just, took screenshots of them as I found them in the comments section. So this is my chance to be more clear about my thoughts on Apple's future regarding AR and VR. Okay, so Brandon Forbama says, a 2-hour battery life with an external battery is crazy disappointing. I thought this was supposed to be an all-day wearable device. I agree, this seems very gimmicky. Exactly. Right now, it is very gimmicky because it's not a realistic device you're going to be using all day long. This seems like something you're going to strap on your head for maybe an hour or two at a time and just browse the web for fun or get work done. I still don't see this being a productivity device, at least for consumers like you and myself, maybe in the medical field or perhaps people who are actually physically handicapped. This thing is going to be incredible because you can do things with simply by moving your eyes, and I think that's amazing. But as of today, it's still gimmicky. It's very, very gimmicky. It's cool. It's damn cool as hell. Please don't get me wrong. I think the technology is amazing, but I still believe we have a very, very long way to go until this thing becomes a household standard, such as our iPhones and iPads. Next comment comes from Ben Lowman Rail. I couldn't agree more. Cool bleeding edge technology with not enough practical benefit. Thank you. Thank you for saying that, especially at that price. Now, price for me isn't a concern in general. I mean, I'm not saying I'm spending $3,500. I'm just speaking in the grand scheme of things. It is called the Vision Pro, so this is not aimed at, your average consumers or even prosumers. Apple Vision Pro is the kind of device that's intended to get into the hands of these big YouTubers, these big influencers, celebrities, basically to get it in the press, get it in the news and say, look, this is Apple's newest thing, but it's not going to be affordable until at least a couple years from now. So yeah, I mean, it's very expensive, but I'm not going to diss it because of the price. I mean, the original Macintosh was expensive back then. The original iPhone, well, arguably got a little more expensive, over the years, but Apple is a premium brand, I mean, I'm never ever really going to fault Apple for pricing something high because I expect them to price something high. But even then, $3,500 is insane. But yeah, Ben, thank you for the comment. Durzo Highwind. The specs are absolutely insane. 4K display per eye, micro OLED, the thinness, 4,000 PPI. The headset is 5 years ahead of its competition. There's nothing like this on the market, and I agree. Enthusiasts will eat this up. I just hope the Hertz is over 120. You will need at least a 4090 for this though. It was never aimed at the mainstream. So again, kind of reiterating what I said in the previous comment, this is not a mainstream consumer aimed device. This is not targeted towards people like you and myself. This is more of a very higher up, kind of get it in the market, see what people are trying to do with this thing. And by that, I mean the developers. So this thing is not going to take off until we truly see what it's capable of. And well, even then, I don't think Apple expects this to take off. This is not something that's going to take off for a while. John, I'm just curious what the target audience is. Pro users aren't going to use this. Thank you. Unless you're in a very niche field, such as like the medical field, then yeah, this could absolutely be interesting. Or maybe a very higher up pro video editor for whatever reason you want to see your movie on a headset instead of, looking at a display, then yeah, I get that. But in the grand scheme of things, I just can't see people like you and myself video editing this on a daily basis or photoshopping or whatever. What is wrong with sitting at a desk and working with a perfectly good display? There's nothing. And plus, you're not secluding yourself from the world. I realize this is an AR first device, which by the way, I want to make that clear. I made a mistake in my first video. I said this is not an AR/VR device. It is AR/VR. However, it's no secret, guys. It's extremely obvious. Apple is pretty much advertising this as an AR first device, VR second. So it's obviously heavily augmented. Hence, with all the promo pictures and videos you're seeing, typically they're showing a screen within a room. But yes, this can be used as a VR device. But still, you're secluding yourself from the world when getting work done. And I just can't see that being a thing. Tom Scholler, from what I understood from the keynote, the Vision Pro is actually a VR headset, correct, I just talked about that, with AR functionality through full color pass-through, just like the Meta Quest 3. Agreed. Thank you, Tom, for clearing that up. Yes, I'll say it again, this is an AR/VR mixed reality headset, but AR is clearly the big focus here. Next comment. Mr. Sean, a fellow patron, noticed they use the word Pro, which traditionally Apple releases years later for a product. I agree. Again, I feel like I'm kind of saying the same thing over and over again. They are targeting this as a premium device, and obviously, years later, it's going to get much cheaper. Anyway, Sean says, however, I can see Apple announcing a product in a few years and drops the Pro, and hopefully at a third of the price. I agree. Guys, the most I would pay for something like this is $1,000. But even then, I can guarantee you, once the honeymoon is over, it's going to end up on a shelf, and it's something I'm just never going to use on a daily basis. It's more of a party trick. It's more of a, hey, check this out, friend. This thing's amazing. This thing is the future, but it's not really the future. It's just a glimpse into the future. Next comment, Ben says, maybe not now, but eventually this will be the standard. I disagree. I'm sorry, I disagree. I don't see this becoming the standard. Phones are the standard. iPads are the standard. Computers are the standard. I don't see mixed reality headsets being the standard. I can't see the average family sitting in the living room, all strapped with headsets on their head, watching a movie together. It's not going to become the standard. I'm not looking for hate when I say this. I don't see it becoming the standard. It's really cool technology, but I'm sorry, I don't see it becoming the standard. I simply don't. The standard is a very strong term. Next comment comes from Martin G1410. This comment's pretty long, but I'm going to skim it for you guys. The technology is awesome, and I think this model isn't ever going to be mass produced. I agree. For consumers, it's more of an open prototype for developers and the odd tech reviewer or die-hard tech fan, so the price won't bother the type of market this is aimed for. I completely agree. Again, price is not an issue here. This will either end up in the pile of good while it lasted products like 3D TVs, or eventually be made smaller, lighter, and cheaper with developers creating great software for it and Apple mass producing for a fraction of the price. Definitely the latter. I can see this becoming something more common. Like, for instance, you will see this on planes over time. You will see this in coffee shops, I guarantee you. I'm not saying this is not going to be used in the general public. I just don't see it becoming the standard. That's a very strong term when talking about technology. I can see some great potential for the technology once developers have had time to properly explore the idea, but can't see it being used in homes, thank you, and taking over from traditional computers and monitors, but who knows. Thank you, I completely agree. I'm looking forward to what Vision Pro 2 looks like. I agree. Awesome comment. Howdy! Watching movies on 100-foot screens sounds pretty awesome to me. Then a comment from Daniel Lute. You can do that using the $300 Meta Quest 2. I don't know much about the Meta Quest 2, but apparently the resolution on the Meta Quest 2 is much lower, so the immersion is probably not comparable. But of course, Cool Buddy Dude 1 comes in out of nowhere and says, just sit closer to your TV. I just had to screenshot that because I actually laughed out loud. I thought that was hilarious. But anyway, howdy. I picked your comment for a reason, because I agree. If there's anything that interests me the most about strapping on the Apple Vision Pro, it's watching movies. I'm a movie buff. I mean, I never got into the whole 3D movie craze, or phase, you could look at it either way. But according to the videos I've watched, watching 3D movies on the Vision Pro is absolutely incredible. That could be the killer app for this headset. I say app because it's just a, like a form of media consumption. But guys, let me make it clear. If I ever own something like the Vision Pro or a Vision Lite, whatever they call it, Vision Air, it's for movies. I love movies. I love immersing myself. I hate being distracted by my phone or some kind of light in the background. Movies are absolutely the killer form of media consumption for a VR/AR device. In this case, VR. I don't want a movie just like floating in my room. I just want to be locked off from the world, enjoying that movie as it's intended. But again, working on a computer, like doing emails and stuff in a VR headset, just not interested. Yeah, it looks cool. It might feel cool. But speaking long term, sorry, it's not happening. At least not for a very, very long time. Next comment, Victor LP or IP, I can never tell. Too big and it might not fit on top of glasses. Also, you can't be comfortable wearing it around. Then Ariel Stomp, sorry, I probably said that wrong as well. They said they would have magnetic clip-on lens support. That I love. From Zeiss, that's really cool as a fellow glasses wearer. I mean, yeah, that's a big deal. But I want to go back to Victor's comment. You can't be comfortable wearing it around. I agree. I mean, Apple even showed someone FaceTiming while it looked like they were packing their suitcase or doing laundry. I'm not sure. And I just can't see that being a thing. Like, the only way I would ever FaceTime on the Apple Vision Pro is if I was already on the Vision Pro, browsing the web or watching a movie, and I suddenly get a call. Then yeah, I will take it. But there's nothing wrong with using our phones for FaceTime and using our MacBook Pros, because don't forget, what the other person is seeing is not actually you. It's just a 3D scan of you, which I won't lie, is damn cool, guys. I can't say it enough. The technology is amazing. I just think the VR headset, AR/VR headset, it's doing too much. The best thing I'll say today to you guys is this. The Vision Pro to me seems like the Apple Watch all over again. When the Apple Watch was originally announced years ago, Apple advertised it as a phone on your wrist. And I thought that was really cool to get notifications, to take phone calls, but over time it evolved into more of a health and fitness device. And I can see the same exact thing happening for the Vision Pro. Less focused on the computing, more focused on media consumption and personal connections with those you love. I think that's where the magic is happening. I don't see people using this to get work done. I simply don't. I see this as an escape from reality in the sense that, hey, you just want to watch a movie for 2 hours, strap on the headset, and enjoy yourself. I think that's where VR is quite powerful. Media consumption. And I will say that for the longest time. Media consumption is the killer app. Emil Secker, you said the same thing about the Apple Watch. I made this clear in the comments, but I'll just reiterate myself for the sake of this video. I never dissed the Apple Watch after Apple announced the Apple Watch officially. I said I'd never wanted the iWatch, but after I saw the introduction of the Apple Watch, I'm like, wow, this thing looks incredible. But now that I've seen the Apple Vision Pro, I have yet to be convinced that this is going to be the standard. And I could argue right now, Apple Watch is the standard in smartwatches. Will the Vision Pro be the standard in headsets? I don't think so, because I don't think headsets will ever be the standard, at least for a very, very long time. Very, very long time. The next comment comes from Sean Gallagher. The headset is as fascinating as the technology is scary as hell. It's as if Apple saw a Black Mirror and said, yes, please. I hope the price tag scares off a lot of people. You know what? This I have to completely disagree with you, Sean. I mean, obviously, I appreciate your comment. I appreciate your support. But I've never understood why people are scared of technology. I hate when things are suddenly getting good and people always seem to reference Skynet. Why? I embrace change. I embrace the future. But this in no way scares the hell out of me. I think it's amazing and it's only going to get better over time. So I fully embrace, I fully welcome this new tech. So I say bring it on. I mean, me personally, I'm a big fan of Black Mirror. I've seen the Black Mirror episodes. I think it's really cool. And hey, I mean, I'm not against it. Rainy Day Dawn. Have you spent time in VR? I think you're going to grind yourself eating these words in a couple of years. The AR/VR capability is going to and is changing the world. Yeah, it could change the world, but it's never going to become the standard. Your words don't sound any different than when a lot of people said about the iPhone and iPad. You said we don't need it. Don't say, okay, hold on. Don't put words in my mouth. I never ever said that about iPhone or iPad, and I realize you're talking about the general audience. But no, I never ever said the iPhone and iPad are not needed. The iPhone is a necessary device. People love their phones. People love staying in touch with others via texting and video calls and using their apps and social media. This is a standard. The iPad is a standard. It's a realistic device that we can use every single day. But secluding ourselves, despite it being AR, I can't see the average person strapping on a headset and using this every single day realistically. I just can't. As of today, it's gimmicky, it's flashy, it's nothing more than a party trick. Didn't people say the same thing about the iPad? Okay, well, I just kind of talked about that. Why would I watch a movie on a small screen when I could watch it and then it cuts off? And then, of course, I verified in my response. I was a big believer in the iPhone and iPad since the beginning. An AR headset is way more niche than anything we've seen from Apple. And guys, that's the truth. It is a very niche product. It's not going to be a general product that everybody is going to be buying. Even 5 years from now, I guarantee you, it's not going to be a device you see every single day, like people are wearing AirPods and stuff like that. It's just it's not going to be. Ariel Stomp, I just have to laugh because I'm pretty sure this comes out as gushing about how amazing it is, and you can't imagine yourself using any comparable headsets. Also, this thing is mixed reality. I know I've talked about that. And then I say, I can guarantee you this is not something I'm buying, at least not the first gen version. And guys, I still stand by that. $3,500 is just way out of my budget. And I've used VR before. I own a VR headset. I still think AR is pretty boring. And guys, I'll once again confirm that. I do think AR is not practical. It's cool at first, but in the general grand scheme of things, it is boring. It's usable maybe if you're looking for, furniture on Amazon. I say furniture because I've never realistically used that, hey, put it in your room feature. But I will say this, if there's any form of AR I'm ever interested in, it's Google Glass. I truly was hoping Apple was going to take the Google Glass approach and have something much more minimal like this, with maybe tiny cameras on the sides, showing me Apple Maps as I drive, or showing me messages pop up on a tiny display. I still think Apple Vision Pro is way overkill. VR and AR are interesting, but I just think Apple is doing too much. Google Glass I thought was incredible, and I hate that it was killed off years ago. I hate that so much, because I myself never got the chance to use it. Zord. To me, the productivity side of this device is merely extra. I agree. The real value is having the most immersive TV/gaming display in the market. I completely agree. Media consumption, guys. Media consumption is where it is. Traditional TVs are so bad for movie/game consumption now. I don't understand why I said that, because my TV is incredible. That I've seen the Vision Pro can do. And Apple will eventually kill off the entire traditional TV display industry. No. I'm sorry. No. That's an extremely bold statement. Apple will eventually kill off the entire traditional TV display industry? No, Zord. No. You had me in the first comment, but I mean, yeah, the second portion of the comment, no, sorry. High-end TVs cost a fortune. Actually, they really don't. And I would rather buy a Vision Pro and skip entirely on TVs. Sorry, I'm not with you on that one. Because you can get a really good TV for about like $1,000 to $1,500 today. And finally, the last comment, Adam Christopher. This video is the only good take I've seen on the Vision Pro all day. This product has absolutely zero practical use cases. That portion of the comment is a little dramatic, because again, I do think it's realistic in some scenarios for the vision impaired, physically impaired, the medical industry. It definitely has a use case, but in the general usage, yeah, I agree. And then Adam says it might be cool to use for like 3 minutes, and then everyone is going to switch back to their laptop or desktop. I agree. I'm the same way on my iPad. Now, with that said, the iPad is far more usable than something like the headset. I'm sorry, Vision Pro. But anyway, I mean, getting real work done on an iPad is very, very difficult for me when I much prefer my MacBook Pro. Because it's just way simpler and more practical than wearing a big-ass headset and waving your hands around, typing in the air. I agree, but just know that you can use a physical keyboard. Anyway, Adam says, you said it best, David. This product is a party trick. Nothing more at this point. I love those 3 final words, at this point. And guys, I want to wrap this video by just confirming that. The future is definitely extremely exciting. I am by no means against the Apple Vision Pro or any VR headset for that matter. I mean, I don't care if it's coming out of Meta, Valve, or Apple, or even Microsoft with HoloLens. I'm very excited, guys. I'm a tech geek at heart. I've always loved technology. So I don't want you to take these videos as a form of negativity. I'm just giving you my input. I don't see this being the future for a very long time. A very long time. But hey, with that said, I am excited to see what happens. And well, hey, it can only get better and cheaper from here on out. So that's the best way of looking at it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video clears up my last video. I didn't want to come across as too negative, but I'm just being realistic with you. I mean, I'm giving you my honest opinion. And well, guys, honestly, I'm not going to lie to you right now. It's kind of nice being the person who's not really agreeing with everyone else, because I am so excited to look back on this video 5 years from now and hopefully finding out I was right. And yes, I'm stroking my ego big time right now, but it's just gonna be nice, you know, to look back on. And hey, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I will always and forever admit to you when I'm wrong, because I'm not a coward. I'm real. I will own my mistakes. So, future David, how does this look? How does this sound? Was I right? Was I wrong? And yes, I'm talking to myself. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Hey, I'm excited. This is only the beginning, guys, and I cannot wait to see where the industry goes. You guys have a great day. And of course, thank you for your continued support. Thank you for all the comments. I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys are awesome, and I'll talk to you soon.